Good evening. How you doing? So welcome to the live stream for Friday night. So basically what we're doing is we're having a look of what we call Ask Me Anything. So this is unplanned and I haven't scheduled it in, but you're welcome to join me, and for the next hour we're going to be talking about absolutely anything. So first of all, a couple of things. This live stream is sponsored, and it's sponsored by the lovely people over at DistroKid. And DistroKid are looking to do this where if I click on here, go. Let's go this way and put it there properly. There we go. Fantastic. So this live stream is sponsored by DistroKid, and the guys, hi, are basically, they've got a link which is at the bottom just here. And if you follow that link, which I'm going to put in the description box as well, then you can actually get 7% off your first annual membership if you are looking to distribute your music. If you're a musician or you play in a band, you are looking to basically get your music everywhere, then what you can do is you can actually use a distributor, and that's what DistroKid is. You give your music to them and they distribute it out to all the different streaming sites around the world. The great thing is that they actually keep 100% of the royalties. No, they don't. You keep 100% of the royalties. See what I did there? So you keep 100% of the royalties and they collect everything for you. Now, the great thing is they actually send all your music out to everywhere. Now, it's really important right now to be out on social media. So it also sends it to Facebook and Instagram. It sends it to TikTok as well. And this is basically a way you can actually send your music out, and they have one price per year. So imagine how many songs you could release in 2021. They charge one price per year, which is $19.99. But if you use this link at the bottom here, what you can do is you can actually get 7% off that. So if you're just joining us, thank you very much for coming in. This is an Ask Me Anything. So this is a live stream about Ask Me Anything. Ask me anything you want, and I will try and see if we can answer it for you today. So let's have a quick look. Where's the fire? How we doing? Calling in from Spain. And Joan, that's cool as well. And what's this all about? Well, this is an Ask Me Anything session. So you can see there, we've got the chat coming up just here, and the guys there. We've got people coming in from Facebook, and we've also got it on YouTube at the same time. So thank you very much for joining us. And we can talk about anything you like, really. You can talk about basically either live streaming advice, or if you want to have a look at distribution, then of course we can talk about things like DistroKid. Or if you want to talk about the tech, we've just released a video today all about a service which is called Evo. And Evo are a company where they use, it's an app basically on your phone, and you download it and you can schedule a live stream which is private. And the great thing about that is, let's just say you're going to do an album launch and you want to do a private live stream for your dedicated fans. It's a great way of doing it. There's not another service out there that sells the tickets for you and live streams on the same platform. So Evo is the first of its kind for that at the moment, which is amazing. I'm surprised that the big hitters have not done this yet for like private streams, but hey ho, there we go. But it's a fantastic piece of kit. So have a look at that, and that's our latest one. And then all this week we've been doing shorts. So we've been doing short videos which are under a minute long, and they've been all about the Boss RC5 and RC500 loop station. So there's loads out there at the moment on the channel, so go and have a look at them. Let's have a quick look. Where's the fire? I'm waiting for COVID regs to let me busk. I used to play acoustic and would like done rhythms and drums. I've thought about getting the Beat Buddy plus a looper, either for RC5 and the RC500. Yeah, it's a great shout. So I'm the same. I play gigs around the UK, and I can't at the moment because we're in lockdown, but we're looking at a road to kind of coming out of it, hopefully, in a couple of months' time. And the great thing about things like the RC5 and RC500 especially, they do have drums on there. Now, the Beat Buddy is amazing, and it has things like intros, it has outros and stuff like that, and you can marry it really, really well with things like the Aero Studio looper, but that's a very, very expensive looper. And you can do it all through MIDI, which is great. One thing I've got the RC5 and 500, and I've picked them up because basically, well, Boss were very, very kind enough to send us the RC5, and I bought the RC500 myself. And I wanted to do loads of videos on them. And the great thing about them is they have built-in drum patterns. So the RC5 has 7 kits, and I think the RC500 has 16 kits. And you're looking at basically on the RC500, it's a microphone XLR in and then a stereo in as well. With the RC5, it's just a stereo in. So what I do is I actually use a TC Helicon Voice Live Play acoustic to get some vocal effects in, and I plug everything into there, like harmonies and stuff. And there's loads of other ones, like Boss have their own one called the V500 now. And what you do is you plug your guitar in, and then you just play like a G chord, and you sing, and it automatically knows what that chord is. You don't have to predetermine it, which is really cool. And then the outs of that go into the looper. The nice thing with these loopers, both, as I say, the RC5 and the RC500, they all have drums, so you can actually get drums and rhythm, and they're not just drums. There's ones like cajons on there. There's a cajon system. There's a brush kit. There's all different kinds. So the one, if you've got a €500 budget, then let's have a quick look. You're saying you want drums and rhythm. You thought about getting a big, but it depends on how many loops you want, by the way. So if you're looking at different loops, you might want to have, like if you just want one loop just to get a basic thing down, think about the fact is I'm always putting like percussive rhythms in and beatboxing. So I don't always use a drum kit with it, but now that there's so many on there, I'm actually thinking of taking a little bit back from the sort of like the and all that kind of stuff. That was a really poor example, by the way, but I'm thinking about doing that. So what I'll do is, you're in the studio as it is right now, and I'm not texting. I'm going to use my phone. So I'm going to use my phone to show you a couple of things. So let's go to that one there. Should have really set this up beforehand, shouldn't I? But there we go. Just a bit of an impromptu live stream at the moment. There we go. Right. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll turn this on. There we go. Right, so over there, basically we've got a RC5 and the TC Helicon Voice Live Play acoustic, and then we've also got the RC500, which is just here. And as you can see, this one it's got XLR in, and you've got the jacks in. Now it has lost the OGs in, which it used to have on the RC30, which is very, very useful if you want to plug multiple things in. So if you just plug in, let's have a look, I play acoustic guitar, we'll just put the guitar through the looper. Okay, cool. So if it's just jack, then it depends on how many loops you need. So you've always got an undo and a redo on most loopers, even the Ditto Plus and things like that as well, the TC Helicon. TC Electronic one. If you're not singing, you're playing acoustic guitar and you're looking for a looper, then either of those would be perfect for you, because the RC5 gives you one phrase looping and the Boss RC500 gives you two phrase looping. I don't know why I said Boss in between, they're both Boss. You got things like, as you said, the Ditto Plus and stuff. So yeah, I mean, my best advice is I've got links on my videos. Have a look at, I've got a playlist all about the 5 and the 500 if you want to check that out, and have a look at them, see what they're like. I do demos on them as well. I've just done a performance with one of them as well, and I've just filmed one today that's going to be out on Monday. And if you're part of the Caffeine Drinker on YouTube, then you get to see that early. So as soon as I upload it to YouTube, it's there. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. That also helps me out. But yeah, you can do that. So you can literally, if you're looking at doing looping and you're looking at something with drums, yeah, a Beat Buddy is fantastic. But then you've got to spend money on a looper as well, and it depends on what you need as well. If you need you need it to have intro, verse, chorus, things like that. With the RC5 and RC500, they have an A and a B for each drum kit. So you can have say an A for a verse and B for a chorus, and you can program that up, and it saves per memory as well. So there's 99 memories, but it saves per memory, which is really, really good. So you could have memory 1 is the verse and then memory 2 is the chorus, and you can seamlessly go through one to the other, or you could have it as a completely different song if you wanted to. So I've done that with a couple of different things. So something like that would be really, really good. If you're just plugging jack, acoustic guitar jack in, either of them will do that, because you'd be mono, and you can plug it in. However, if you're plugging it into a chain, so if you've got something like a couple of things like I don't know, like an acoustic effects that you go through, like you've got a delay or you've got overdrive or anything like that. Of course, it can be part of your chain if you've got like a small pedal board. Definitely that useful to have something like an EQ if you haven't got that on your guitar. So yeah, so that's my sort of like 2 pence. That's my Ask Me Anything 2 pence about loopers. You sing and play as well. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, if you're plugging in, if you're looking at the RC5, it's jack only. So you'd either have to plug in the microphone via jack on one side and then the guitar on the other, and then the weird thing is it kind of goes left and right, so then one's left and one's right. With the RC500, I'll pick it up again, there we go. So with the RC500 you've actually got the XLR in, and then you've got I don't call it left and right, they call it instrument A and B and output A and B, and the reason is you can route them, which is really cool. So you could actually plug in there, and then that could be your microphone out and that could be your guitar out, for example. Sorry, those two. That could be a microphone out, that could be your guitar out. So you could actually put them into a mixer and mix them properly, or you could just plug in left and right, and both will come out stereo. So if you plug in a mono instrument, of course, it'll come out both channels equally, but the microphone will come out both channels as well. Now, it does have effects, and the effects are for the loops only. It's not effects for the guitar or for the microphone. It's just effects for the loops. And there's a couple of cool effects like reverse and scatter, but then also there's effects for the loops, and there's a reverb for the drums, which you can play around with. So this is very, very good. Don't forget the Beat Buddy. I mean, at the end of the day, the Beat Buddy has it's designed. It's designed to do one job, and it does that job incredibly well, because you can just press one button and it goes on to the next thing, and a little bit of playing around with it. You could get a Beat Buddy on that. That comes in around about £250. So you could get a Beat Buddy as well. So if you didn't like the drums on the RC500, but you did like the loop system, you could do that, and you could marry that up by MIDI, because also this is MIDI in and MIDI out by a TRS jack just here. So the world's your oyster, if I'm honest. If you've got a £500/euro spend, have a look at places that you can go and get it. I've got links on my videos you can go and grab it from, which is Amazon links, and they are affiliated. So of course, if you do click them, I do get a little bit of a kickback at no expense to you, of course. And yeah, you can do that if you want. Whoops, there we go. So it depends on what you want to do. The thing with Boss is that they've been around for years in terms of loopers. If you're looking at that price range as well, the other option you can do is you could pick up like something like an RC300. Now it's older, it's almost 11, is it 11 or 12 years old now, but it's still a really stable looper. It depends whether you want to be, going for 3-phrase looper, 2-phrase looper. It depends on how many phrases you need. If you're using drums and then you've got 2 phrases, you can do unlimited overdubs, and you can also then go from one to the other. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. So this is Ask Me Anything. If anyone's interested in asking me anything, where we talked about, obviously from the previous videos that I've done, whether we're doing looping or we're talking about live streaming. So right now, what you can see on the screen, this is live streaming through Restream, and Restream is pushing it out to Facebook. It's currently where are we pushing out to? Facebook, YouTube, obviously, and then we've got loads of different other ones as well. So we've got, I think, Periscope's going out there as well, and Twitch. How are you, man? I'm good, thank you very much. It's Friday. Let's have a drink. This is my little Australia keep it cool thing for the summer, but I always use it because it's nice. It was bought for me by my lovely wife. So there we go. So it's nice to keep and use. So yeah, man, you're more than welcome. No problem at all. If you've got any other questions, by all means, ask me. That's what I'm here for. That's the reason I started this YouTube channel, is to answer questions either for myself, but also for other people as well. If you are into looping, you may have noticed the t-shirt, which is How Do You Loop? And this is one of my t-shirts that I've designed, and you can get it at teespring.com/John Paul Music UK. It comes in a range of colours. The blue one's around here somewhere. There we go. Look, as if for my magic, on a hanger as well. So how do you loop? And then on the back, you've got some loops that I designed myself. So you're more than welcome to pick up one of them. And we're going to be doing a How Do You Loop series with a couple of people. And I'm trying to get a couple of people involved. And there's some special people in there. So stay tuned for further in the year. And we're going to be doing a looping series, which is going to be cool. I can talk about looping till basically December and beyond. So yeah, so this live stream is sponsored, and you can see the link at the bottom there. This is sponsored by DistroKid. So first of all, DistroKid, thank you very much for sponsoring this live stream. And there is a link at the bottom, which is distrokid.com/VIP/John Paul Music UK. If you are looking to distribute your music, if you are looking to make some music and you go, what on earth am I going to do with it? Don't put it on CD. Put it on, well, you can if you want. They've now put out a report that CD is a dead media, which makes me feel really old because I've got CDs. I've even got ADAT and everything up there, mini disc. But if you're looking to get all your stuff out around the world, then this is the way to do it, because DistroKid have one price per year, and you can release as many songs as you want for one price per year. So if everyone's in the room, just let me know if you've been live streaming. Because if you've been live streaming and you've been recording those live streams and you've been playing, you could actually release them. You could release all the live streams. Your live stream from the week before, the 2 weeks before, could be on Spotify, it could be on Apple Music. And these guys push it out to them, but you keep 100% of the royalties. Let's say you're a band and then there's 3 of you, there's 4 of you, there's 5 of you, there's 10 of you. There's a system with DistroKid which is called Teams. And what Teams does is it basically lets everyone log in, and then you can say, well, okay, there's 5 of us, for example. We all created the track together, so everyone gets 20%. And then you can split the money and send the money into different ways automatically, which is really, really clever. For a solo artist, obviously, you just do 100%. But I work with a friend of mine, and we are a duo called Tokyo Wasteland. So when we release the music for Tokyo Wasteland, have a look at Tokyo Wasteland, by the way. If you like your synthwave music, hence all the purpley colours, then that's what we do, as well as my own stuff, which is kind of predominantly folk. And we split that 50-50. So I set that up on Teams. It's really, really easy and really simple. So let's have a quick look. Let's see what's going on. Where are we? Yeah, cool. There we go. Cool. So let me just take that off for 1 second. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to here. There we go. Great. Sorry, I just needed to set something up. We'll put that back now. So, guys, if you're just joining us, this is a live stream which is called Ask Me Anything. So you're more than welcome to ask me anything about the songs that we've been doing, or I just dropped the. Which video was it? I've done so much recording over the past week. It's been crazy. So let's have a quick look. The last recording I did, which was a performance one, was Take On Me. So that was fun, because of course that's such a high song to sing, as in vocal wise. So I did a kind of twist on it. So a little bit of a quieter version, a little bit like the Last of Us Part 2, where she sits down and just plays it very, very gently and sings it quietly. So I did a version like that. I've got another video coming out on Monday, which is going to be a performance one. It's quite a popular song. I hope you guys like it. And I can maybe give you a hint of what it is at the end. But yeah. So what I'm also going to talk to you about as well is a couple of things that are coming up. So first of all, How Do You Loop is going to be coming up as well. And I'm going to be doing a couple of more videos all about looping. And I'm going to also be doing some live streaming with the equipment you can see behind me just here. So that is where I actually put my phone in, because my phone is my camera when I do all my filming. And that's the speaker there. And then that is the mixer that we talked about in the live streaming bundle. And if you haven't seen that video, that's basically a how to get started with the right equipment to get you up and running straight away. And that is a Behringer Xenix 802 USB. It's got a really long name, but basically it's an 8-channel mixer that is USB, as well as you can plug it into a speaker. So I plug everything into that, plug that into the speaker so I can hear it, because I need to hear the loops coming back, and then that goes into my phone. And then I either record myself filming, or I can do it with live streaming. And live streaming wise, what you're seeing right now is all done through Restream.io. I'm not using any software other than basically going onto a web browser. So if you want to have a look at that, you can do, and we have a way you can actually do that through Restream. So you can go restream.io, join, and then jump on Music UK. And Restream is completely free, by the way. It's but they do have some pro options. So what you can see here, like putting your own overlays on and things like that, that's pro. But you can get, and you pay for that. But with that link, you can actually get $10 towards your pro membership. So yeah. Right then, let's have a quick look. I have looked at the Voice Live 3 Extreme. Would you trade your Play Acoustic and upgrade? Oh, I'm not very tech savvy. Extreme 3 looks like the DBs, but also looks complicated. Will you be testing? The Voice Live 3 Extreme is actually not a brand new device. It's a couple of years old, and I had it. So I had the RC300 on one side, and the Voice Live 3, and then move over to the Voice Live 3 Extreme on the other side. And I needed a pedal board the size of a gun case to actually carry the thing around. It's really heavy. However, the Voice Live 3 and the Voice Live 3 Extreme are fantastic pieces of kit. I still stand by saying that at the moment, TC Helicon's voice system, when it comes to harmonies, is probably one of the best, in my opinion, at the moment, until someone comes along with a better algorithm. But so you could just plug in and play, and that thing can give you up to 8 voices. You can do full on like Pink Floyd Wall, like part 2. We don't need no education with all the voices there. It's amazing. The looping, not so much. The looping is called V-loop or Vloop. I can't remember what they call it. And the pedal assignment for that is a bit weird. So a friend of mine who is also on YouTube, and we've done a little bit of a video together. So David Shoreham is really, really good with the Voice Lives, and he's been using it for a good couple of years, and he's now moved over to the RC300 for the looping side, but he's keeping the Voice Live for all its stuff. And the good thing about the Voice Live 3 is, of course, you've got guitar effects and you've got vocal effects as well. It's got things like rhythm effects that the Play Acoustic doesn't have. The Play Acoustic's limited to 2 voices only. As I say, like the 3 and the 3 Extreme, you can go up to 8 voices. I think it's 4 voices and then it doubles them, so you can go up to 4 voices and then 8 voices, which is just insane. And I did use it for a little while, and it is brilliant, but it looks complicated to begin with, but it doesn't take long to actually get into it. What I would do if it was me is I would, even though it's got like a myriad of buttons, what I would look to do is I would look to buy the TC Helicon Switch 3 or Switch 6 external pedal and plug that in. So you will have a Darth Vader's panel on the floor, but what that means is that you don't have to switch pages. So there's a main page with all the effects on, and then you have to switch the page and go into the looper and then come back out again. You can do that on the Voice Live Play Acoustic, and it's the same on the Voice Live 3 and 3 Extreme. What I'd suggest you do is get like a Switch 3 or Switch 6 and assign that to being the looper. So then that way you don't have to jump in and out of pages, and then that way you can have that like underneath. So you've got like, say, you've got the Voice Live 3 there, and then underneath it's just like the Switch 6 is lovely. It's 6 buttons and it all works. It's great. And they have a dedicated thing where you just press one or turn one dial, and it turns those 6 buttons into the looper, which is cool because that means you can then loop, and then you can very, very quickly access both your vocal and guitar effects on the same page without having to dive into the looper and then come back out again. And it's just nice with that. Without that, the V-loop system, the buttons for me personally were in the wrong order. It was in a really weird place where you do like your second loop and everything else. So I didn't get on with it from the looping side. However, if money was no object and I was looking at the best harmony system and the best vocal effect system on the planet right now, it's still the V3 Extreme. I would look at the V3 Extreme, if it was no, as I say, money no problem. I can't speak. Money no problem. Yeah, the Voice Live 3 Extreme is a brilliant. Would I trade for my Play Acoustic? I actually went the other way. So I had the 3 and I went for the Play Acoustic. Actually, I didn't. I went from the 3, I went to the Voice Live Touch 2, then I went to the Play. The reason is size and convenience. So I do a lot of things like busking, but I also do gigs as well, and setup time was just killer, and it was just like, I've got to plug everything in. And I went from I was like, do I need these? Hi, I'm good. How are you? Um, Hi, Hyde. So yeah, the Voice Live 3, I was like, I don't actually need all these. I just need a good guitar sound, which the Voice Live Play has, because of course they take some of the TC electronic sounds. So they've got a couple of TC electronic pedals married into there, which of course are in the Voice Live 3 Extreme. And I was like, I'm using a maximum of 7 of the 500 effects that are available on this thing. I was like, I don't need it. So I actually went down a peg. So all I need is a harmonizer, 2 voices, a bass sound, a radio sound. I need a octave up sound for really, really high, like sort of like choir sounds, and a long reverb and a couple of other bits as well. But I didn't need that many for what I was doing, and that really made the pedal board a lot smaller. So that was just me. That's just the way I was, because I was still using the RC300 at the time. So of course it was, pedal board was like that. Having said that, we are now on looking at the Boss RC500 the past month, and of course we're still talking about this one. Now, as it stands as a looper, this is at the moment the most advanced looper out there. It's not the highest quality audio you can get. The highest quality audio you can get is actually the RC5 and the RC500, because they've just come out in October, and they're 32-bit audio, and you can tell the difference. The Headrush looper board, and Headrush have been very, very kind to me, and you can see there's a box just here. There's a box just there. That's the gig board, and they've sent that to me for testing, and we're going to be doing some videos on that. Excuse me. I did a video which was a performance video with both of them together, and it's a lot of fun. However, the gig board, obviously I play acoustic guitar, not electric guitar, so it's really interesting to see what you can get away with, what you can do with it, because it's meant for guitarists, and I'm a glorified chord player. That's what I'd call myself. So I'm very, very, very honoured that they've sent me that to have a play with, and they want to see the latest versions. There's even an acoustic simulator on there, which is bizarre. So I want to plug the acoustic into that to see what it does, because it's got things like piezo pickups and all different kinds of pickup simulated. It's bizarre. So hi Chris, how we doing? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. So if you are just joining us, this is a live stream. You can ask me anything, and it's all about music. So we've got looping, we've got live streaming, and we've got basically the guys who do distribution for music. So if you want to get your music out there in the world, that's what DistroKid do. These guys just here, and we've set up a link so you can join them. Sorry, I've kind of gone off on a bit of a tangent there with Where's the Fire, obviously about the Voice Live 3 Extreme. So if you're not familiar with it, the Voice Live 3 Extreme is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to voice effects and guitar effects. The looper is kind of like not the best looper on the planet. It is okay, but I preferred the Boss at the time, and now I'm running with either the Boss RCs, 5s and 500s, and I've got very, very lucky enough to get the Headrush looper board. Now the Headrush looper board I've had pretty much since it came out, and it's had a firmware update which completely changed it, and it changed it for the better. It made it feel like a whole new board, and it's 4 loops. So yeah, you can get things like the RC505, but it's a tabletop looper, and you still need to get something for your feet to play with. You could use apps, and of course we've got things like Loopy HD on your phone. I've done that, and I've used a little pedal board. So you did a MIDI pedal board. So I did the ultimate Loopy HD pedal board video, which is basically using an iPad or an iPhone, plugged in with the Morningstar MC8. Now the Morningstar is a MIDI controller. In fact, where is it? Oh, there it is. The very kind guys at Morningstar were able to, we had a bit of a chat, and we got talking about this. So this is an 8-pedal MIDI controller. Now MIDI is scary. Simple as that. Excuse me. MIDI is quite scary because it's CC numbers and program changes and things like that. They make this really, really simple. So it has a little display on the front when you plug it in, and then you've got connections on the back. So you've got USB, and you've got these 4 ports, which are Omni ports. They can be expression pedal in, auxiliary, or MIDI out. It doesn't matter. You can program it up to be whatever you want it to be. And you've got your normal traditional 5-pin MIDI as well. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, MIDI is a language or a protocol which sends signals from one thing to another thing. Normally when you talk about MIDI, most people talk about MIDI keyboards. And that's exactly what this thing is down here, where you plug it in and then you can play the sounds coming from your computer. But MIDI pedals basically send messages to something else. So I can marry that up with the TC Helicon. I can marry that up with the RC500. I can marry that up with the Headrush and have 8 extra pedals. Now, where this gets complicated but amazing is each pedal can send 16 messages at the same time, up to 16 messages. So I'll give you an example. On the Headrush looper board, there is not a 1-button single press to clear all the tracks. You have to go into the menu, which is function. You have to go to clear, and then you go in, and then you can hit clear all. So that's 3-4 button presses to get into that. And there is a 1-button press clear all, but it's within 2 or 3 menus. I could program this up so I could just press that 1 button and it'll just do it straight away. And it just saves you going into menus, which is really, really good. So things like that are really useful. So I've actually married and I've done stuff with that and the RC500. This is their flagship one, which is called the MC8. There's also the MC6, which has 6 buttons, and the MC3, which, yes, you've guessed it, has 3 buttons. And the great thing about them is they all work exactly the same now. They actually were slightly different, but now they've done an update, and they keep doing updates to them and just keep updating it, and it makes it even better. So if you're just looking for an additional pedal, you can do that. If you're looking at something like the RC500 looper and then you just want an additional pedal, you can get things like the FS6 or the FS7. It's a 2 pedal button thing that you plug into there, and then you've got 2 additional pedals. The great thing about these now, the RC5 and 500s, is they are so programmable. So I could on one patch have the up and down buttons. I say up and down, the RC7 is what I've got. It's the RC6, but like in one small pedal form. And I could say, well, that one is memory up and that one's memory down. But on the next memory, I could say that one's undo and that one's start stop. Or on the next memory, that's reverse, that's undo. And you can program it per memory. Now, you might want to have it across the board, which of course you can, but you'd have to just program that up. But it means that it's really, really flexible, but also it means it's really programmable. So yeah, something like a MIDI pedal really, really expands the functionality of that. So you can even reprogram these 3. So these are play and record, stop, and track select. But you might want to be play and record, stop, and mute. So you could do that. So it's quite cool. Hyde, I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm saying hi to you. So what's up, man? Yeah, hi, how you doing? Hope you're well. Chris, I have a Roland electric drum kit. Any gear you can recommend I try out with it? Roland electric drum kit, any gear? Headphones, so you don't annoy the neighbours, or a really big speaker if you want to annoy the neighbours. With electric drum kits, they're cool. The only problem with some of them, certainly the older ones, the cymbals sound a bit funny. The latest ones are really good. So the brain for the Roland kit depends on what you're doing with it, but that might have MIDI as well. So if you want to program that up to, say, record something into a computer or even, a mobile device, you can do that now. So if you've got a MIDI drum kit, they're cool. I like them. I've always liked them. I played drums for a couple of years. I can't play half as what I used to play now. But I'd like the idea of being able to just play any kit. It's really, really cool. So I take it, Chris, it's got like a brain that you can then change what kind of kit it is, depending on like how many pads you've got, or whether is it like a pad? Does it look like a drum kit, or is it one of those square pads with like 8 pads on that you can change? I like them as well. They're cool. Behringer do a cool one like that, I think. Is it Behringer or Alesis? They do like a really cool like 8 pad. I think it's actually 12 pads because there's 4 on the top you can tap as well. I've always liked them. They're very 80s, and they're all modern now, and they can do loads of different things. But I just got this cool idea of like this drummer like with sunglasses on, sort of on stage, going, yeah. In fact, those sunglasses over there, that Tokyo Wasteland sunglasses that we wear. So guys, yeah, there you go. Pads plus more real looking snare drum. Oh, nice, cool. So has it actually got it's real looking snare drum? So, but it's still a pad one. It hasn't got the actual springs underneath. That's cool, man. See, electric drum kits. The great thing about them as well is if it's got the availability to have just a stereo out, or if it's actually got the availability to have multiple outs, you can mix it really well. So once you can either send the MIDI signal of each hit to a drum kit on a computer, or you can actually it's got mess head on the snare. And then what you can do is you can basically you can send that MIDI signal out, and then of course you could change the drum kit actually on, say, like GarageBand or Logic or Ableton, whatever you're running. Hyde, why don't you feel well? Let us know. It's all electric mesh. Yeah, it's a mesh head. Okay, cool, nice. That's cool. So has it got that kind of reaction to it? You got that hard reaction. That's quite nice. So if you're just joining us, just a little bit of a recap. This is a Ask Me Anything live stream, which is sponsored by DistroKid. So DistroKid are a distribution company that distribute your music out to all the streaming sites in the world. Excuse me one second. There we go. Woo, that's bright. There we go. Technical fun here at John Paul Music UK Studios. Let's just turn that down, shall we? There we go. So, yeah, cool. Oh, yes, it was. Okay. Hyde is tired. So it sounds like you've been up a long time, or maybe you just need a little bit of sleep, and that's okay. Always stay hydrated and try and get 8 hours of sleep if you can. If you can't, then just make sure you stay hydrated, because water is the best thing. And this does have water in it, but it has a couple of other things as well. It's Friday. So, yeah, the thing with this basically is if you're looking to, a question for you actually out into the audience is, if you have been live streaming, if you're a musician and you've been live streaming, then what are you doing with those live streams? So, just got back from school, so yeah, it's knackering. So you're doing loads and loads of stuff at school must be tiring, definitely. Getting back into it as well, so yeah, knackering. So my question to you is, if you're doing loads of live streaming, and you say you're performing, you're playing your guitar, you're singing, you're playing drums, Chris, you've recorded that, and there's a file on your computer of you live streaming. Great. What are you doing with that? What you can do is you can actually send that out into the world. So you can actually put that music on things like Spotify. You could put it onto, Apple Music, Pandora in the US. If you say Pandora in the UK, people think of these little jewels. They don't think of the music service. We've got things like Amazon Music as well, all these different places. Also, if you want to make music where you actually want to make stuff with Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook with things like stories, you want your music on there as one of the selected pieces of music, DistroKid can do that for you. So what you do is you put your music out there, and then they push it out to all the different sites. Single malt either water is the answer. That's in the other room. So yeah, this is adult grape juice. No, joking. But yeah, so the great thing is you can obviously do that. So if you've been doing live streaming, you could then take that audio from the live stream. You could chop it up, and someone goes, "Oh, I really like what you did there. That's cool. Would love to hear it on Spotify." You can do that, and what you can do is you can chop up your live streams in the bits, obviously in between where you're playing. Make that an album and then send it out to DistroKid. Now, DistroKid charge you $19.99 for the year, which is insane enough. And you can release as much as you want. With the link we've got down here, you can actually save an extra 7% off that first year's annual membership, which is amazing. Now, they have different tiers. You can go up to the label version. So I've got the label version, which is $80 because there's me, there's Tokyo Wasteland, there's another one that I had to do as well, where which was an older outfit, which was called the Black Bag Project, and we released stuff there. Does the music have to be your own music? Actually, no, it doesn't. You can actually release covers. So when you upload the music, it actually goes to a little page and a little portfolio page of what's the title, what's it called, who's it by, and then there's a little tick box that says, is this original music or is it a cover? Now, you can still release covers, and what they do is then basically the money then some of it will go to the person who's that music is, but then you'll get some as well for doing the performing side of it. So you can release covers, yes, you can do that, no problem. And you can release as many as you want. If you're worried about whether you can make a living releasing covers, then I've only got two words for you, which is Bow Avenue. They have millions of subscribers on their channel, and they do covers. They do their own music as well, but they're known for cover versions of really popular songs. Of course, their production is really high, but once they do it as a video, they then also release that as a track, and they send that to their distributor, whoever that may be, and send it out, which is amazing, because then that way they can create things like a Spotify playlist, they can create like an Apple Music playlist, send it to their fans, send them that link, and then they're just playing it and playing it and playing it, and then you get some money back, which is great. Now, the one thing I like about DistroKid is it's really, really quick. I actually could put a track out. Now, you're merely meant to plan it, but you can put a track out and then it can be on the first music streaming site within a couple of days. However, don't do that. You know, what I would suggest is if you're looking to launch something, if you're just putting like live streams out all the time, yeah, go ahead, do it. But if you're looking to launch something like your own music, then there's the 2-month rule. I don't know if anyone knows about this. Basically the 2-month rule. So if you've got an album, if you've got a single or an EP or an album, there's a thing called the 2-month rule. And what you basically do is, if you think of 2 months, right in the middle, that's when you're going to release the music. So a month before, what you do is you upload it a month before, and you don't actually do anything like with that until basically that point. So day one, you upload the music and the artwork and everything else, and you set the time for it to be released in a month's time. What that does is it gives you 4 or 5, depending on the month, 4 or 5 weeks to start plugging it and promoting it, but also it gives all the people, like for example, like Spotify and Apple Music, gives them time to actually generate the links to say, hey, it's on there now. And then another thing as well is pre-save, and pre-save is massive. So if you have 1,000 fans, okay, so we've got 7,000 people on YouTube, I've got over 1,000 people on Facebook. If I basically released a track and I then said to 1,000 people, go and pre-save it on Spotify. Not everyone's on Spotify, but they can pre-save it. And if they pre-save it, it tells Spotify, hey, loads of people are pre-saving this for launch day. So it may go on things like Discovery Friday, which is the playlists where new music comes out, because you're going to, on day of release, you're going to get a massive spike. Whereas if you just released it and said, yeah, it's out tomorrow, like you might not get that massive spike. You might get 10, 15 people like grabbing it. But if you then have a month to basically plug it like mad, by the time it comes out, you might have 400-500 people all play it the first day. And then the algorithms within things like Spotify go, wait a minute, this is really popular. And it might push it out to more people. Then the reason for the month afterwards is the month afterwards where you go, hey, it's out, go listen to it. So if you're looking to do things like that, this is really, really good. When you're going this live stream, well, I normally do a live stream for about an hour, so by all means you're welcome to obviously carry on right into the end. Of course, every live stream's like a live TV show. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. But this live stream is basically around about an hour, so we're probably looking around another 15-20 minutes. So I'm going to be here. Obviously, if you want any questions asked, this is a Ask Me Anything session, and you're more than welcome to ask me anything about obviously live streaming, and you can ask me anything. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the 2-month rule, if you're going to release music, is really, really useful because it gives you time to do a bit of promotional work, and also So if you're going to release something at the, I don't know, where are we now? It's the 26th of March. So if you were going to basically release something, I've got a track right now. I need everyone to do it. Then what you do is you actually then set it a month in advance, and then it gives you time to do it. If you release or share your own music, how is it protected? Who knows where it could end up if by chance you wrote a winner? Well, the great thing about that is you would need to register yourself and make sure you've got what's called an IRS. Is it IRSC or ISRC code? Check that out. But what you can do is when you release music through a distributor, they ask you, have you got an ISRC? It is ISRC. If you've got an ISRC code or not. And an ISRC code is a code that basically is your unique identifier for every song in the world. So I've got them for mine, and you can either get them yourself, or if you haven't got them, DistroKid will provide them for you for free. So they're a free thing anyway. But basically, what it does is it assigns hey, DistroKid released this on behalf of this customer, would you say, or artist. So this artist was released under them, and you keep 100% of the rights, the royalties. It's all yours. And if you then take that ISRC code and you went to a different distributor, you could give that to them and say that's the ISRC code of that. It's like a barcode for your song. Think of it that way. And every song's got one. So absolutely every song's got one. So that way, it's trackable. Okay. In the sense of the word protected, then what you need to do is you need to copyright your music. Now, if you're worried about that, of course, you can copyright your music, and there's different ways you can do that. There's different methods and you pay for that method. There's a couple of other ways of doing it as well. But if it was me, what I would do is I would copyright the music before I give it to anyone, because then it's date stamped on that day. So then if someone goes, oh, we wrote this song, it's like, okay, what date was that? Well, I've got this sealed envelope that's stamped with this date on it, and that precedes that. So you were cool. So you could do that. Or obviously, if someone robs the theme tune or robs that, there's legalities there, and that's when you start talking to a music lawyer. I am not a music lawyer at all, but that's when you start talking to a lawyer who is in the music industry. But by protecting yourself, have a look, have a Google or have a YouTube. There's a way you can ways you can protect yourself in the sense of copyright. But yeah, if you do that, so if you were to say, for example, release a cover, and then you say, well, this cover is, oh, there you go, you just said it. So DistroKid check the music for similarities, e.g., yeah, exactly. I'll give you an example how good algorithms are right now. If I was to play the exact backing track to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, then there is a social media site that within 2 hours will mute that live stream when it's on the replay. You might get away with it on the actual live stream, but then basically when it's on replay, it'll say, we have dictated this is made by this label. Either mute it or take it out. They don't give you an option to play it. It just says mute it or take it out. I'd like them to give a third one to say play it and give the royalties to Led Zeppelin. Right? I'd love that, because then I think there's a lot of musicians who love listening to different versions of their own music. But yeah, it checks it. And of course, you can call yourself whatever you want. You can call yourself the Beatles if you want to. But if you are four guys with certain head cuts and you sing their songs, you're in trouble. But if you're called the Beatles and you're playing sort of like, death metal, or you're playing like, dance music or rap, and it's got nothing to do with the original Beatles, you're fine. A name is a name, unless it's trademarked, and that's a completely different conversation. So yeah, there's loads of different things that you can do, and it can get complicated. However, doing things like releasing covers and stuff with DistroKid, yes, you can say, it literally asks you, and it's up to you, because it's up to you to tell the truth, because it's going to be you who's in trouble if you lie. So if you go, no, it's completely original and it's actually Stairways to Heaven, then you're the one who's going to be in trouble. The distributor literally takes it and sends it out. They're not responsible for whether the originality is yours or not. That is your responsibility as a musician, or as a label, as it were, to send that music out. So yeah, when you send stuff up, if you say like this is a cover, then it says, okay, who's it made by? What's the song originally called? And then they check it. So yeah, so it just gives them a bit of time. So Yes, you do. So you get basically, let me just put that on the screen. So there you go. So this live stream is sponsored by DistroKid. Yeah, distrokid.com/VIP/John Paul Music UK. So if you basically put that in, I think there's a link. I think I put it on there. If I haven't put it on the actual live stream, I will put it on after when this live stream finishes. Let's have a quick look. No, I didn't put it on there. Oh, I'll put it on there. Don't worry. So, in fact, shall we do that now? Let me do that now. There we go. The beauty of watching me work live. There we go. Ask me anything live. Ooh. Update all. Well, it's updating it, so either it's going to fail the live stream or it's actually updated it. I hope it has. There we go. So in the description now, there should be a link, which is a VIP link, give you 7% off your first annual membership. So, but for $20, I mean, I'm not being funny. If you release an album, if you release like 4 or 5 singles in a year, totally worth it. And the other thing as well is DistroKid have some really cool tools. So for example, they've got things like when you put your music on there, they've got promo stuff, so that you can do promo stuff where they superimpose the album artwork onto, like you say, like an old telly or a CD, and it's in sort of like 9:16 format, so it looks like it's great for Instagram or great for Instagram stories, which I use, and I think that's really cool. I used it for one of my single releases quite a little while back, which is cool. They do these really cool things where they've got little videos. So they've got video of like Baby Yoda, and he flicks a switch and he's actually dancing to your music, and that's totally free to use. It's been made through DistroKid, so you can utilize that as a bit of a promo tool. There's loads on there. It's really, really fun. So they've got loads of cool stuff on there if you want to have a play around with that. And as I say, you can release your own music, you can release covers, you can release a single, an EP, an LP. You could release all your live streams that you've been doing over 2020 or during lockdown and put them on things like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and Pandora and Deezer. And the other thing as well that's massive at the moment is all the posts for things like Instagram and TikTok. So when you ask for putting on music, you can actually search for music when you want to put it on a story. Your music can be there. Mine is. I'll tell you that now. My music is there. So if you want to put a story and you actually type in John Paul, I'm there, and you can find my music and you can use my music. And I've done that with my own promotional. So you could use DistroKid's thing where it's put it on like a CD or an old telly or a bus side of a bus as a promotional tool. You can then basically put that out as a story and then add your own music as the story, which is really, really cool. So there's loads you can do there. You have to go. No worries. Thanks very much. Adios. I hope that's helped you, mate. No problem at all. But thank you very much for tuning in. And obviously, by all means, check out some of the videos on the channel. And then we've got loads of stuff about live streaming, but also about looping and also about just tech. So the other thing as well that we've done, let's start that again. The other thing we did a little while ago was, and I say a little while ago, it doesn't feel that long ago, but it was actually January of last year, which is mad because my brain's gone mental because I don't know where I am because of lockdown. We did a thing about recording a song all on an iPad, and that was it. No computer, that was the computer, and just using GarageBand. So using an audio interface, plugging in, and then plugging into GarageBand and recording with a microphone and a guitar, and that was it. And everything else was virtual. So the drummer was virtual, the keyboards, and plugged my keyboard in with the right adapter. And it can be done. It can totally be done. So it was a five episode series. That's the word I'm looking for. It was a 5-episode series, which is called From Idea to Release. And one of the episodes of that whole series was sponsored by DistroKid, but one of the episodes about that is about distribution, how you get your music out there. So have a look at that series because it is good, because we go from an idea to release, and that song is now out there. That song is now out there on all the different streaming sites and digital stores, which is really useful. Also, if you're distributing your music and you want it on a digital store, that's another thing. You can then put that digital store on your website. You can put the digital store on things like Facebook page or Shopify, things like that kind of thing. and you can sell your music digitally. So if you want to still sell your music as opposed to have it streaming, you can still do that, no problem. Just going to take a sip. I always come on here going, I know the subject I'm going to talk about. I don't know how long I'm going to talk for, and I just keep going and get so dry. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ask Me Anything. Welcome to Ask Me Anything on Friday, the 26th of March, 2021. It has been exactly 6 months since I've been married today, which I'm very, very happy with. It's been great. It's fantastic, and love you, baby. But yes, so we are talking about anything. Ask Me Anything. So we've got the guitar here, we've got live streaming, we've got looping, we've got equipment to actually go live with, we've got lighting. So things like this. This is a cool piece of kit. This is the Low-Fas. It's called the Low-Fas, and it's a Low-Fas Rainbow Fresh. There's loads of lighting equipment out there in the world, and there's a couple of companies that dominate the market for lighting, for if you want to light your YouTube a little bit better. This is not one of these companies. This is a company that actually makes it really cheap, because the problem with lighting is that you then start paying for the name. This thing is fantastic. So it's an RGB light. I've got another one. You can see it's just there, and it's color corrected, so you can actually change the color of it. So I use that for both videos. So if you've watched any of my videos, I'm using them. I'm also using these two massive lights, which you can't see right now, but I'm going to show you them. There we go. So use these two massive lights for live streaming. So the camera I'm using right now is not that camera, the iMac camera. It's the iPhone, and it's actually just plugged into the actual iMac. And then I'm using a little piece of equipment, which is an app basically. So I'm using an app. Let's just take that off. There we go. I'm using an app which is called Epoch Cam, and I did a video about that. Let's just turn that off. I'll just put that back over there. I'm using a system which is called Epoch Cam. And Epoch Cam, it's an app. You just put the app on, plug the actual the phone into the computer, and because it's Mac to Mac, it's just the cable that you came with, and then you just turn it on, and then on Restream, it just says, well, which camera do you want to use? And then you go, I want to use Epoch Cam, and it just changes it, which is great. And it's fantastic. It works really, really well. And yeah, I've been using it for ages. So there we go. So these lights, these are the Invisi lights, and they're desk mounted, but they're actually mounted on the side here. I've got two of them, and then these RGB lights, and that's it. I started the YouTube channel with what most people start off with, which is soft boxes, and they're these massive things. They're actually in a box over there. I don't use anymore. If anyone wants any soft boxes, contact me. They're huge, and they take up a lot of space in a room like this. So I don't have like a massive room. They've just got this room, and they take up a lot of space. So things like LED lights and stuff, they're flat. They're really, really nice to use for both live streaming and both filming as well. The one thing about YouTube and doing the YouTube channel is you very quickly realize, okay, I actually knew a little bit about audio. I knew very little about lighting, and knew very little about frame rates, and knew very little about ISOs and things like that. I still don't know really. I mean, there's probably someone will look at this live stream and go, oh, that's not the right color. Yeah, I don't really mind that much, but I'm sure a videographer would be going mad. So there we go. But yeah, I actually, the whole YouTube channel is actually filmed on iPhones. I don't have a digital SLR or anything like that at all, and it's all edited on this iPad. Now, I'm very, very lucky to have an iPad Pro, but the latest iPad Air, even the latest normal iPad, is fantastic. And I use an app which is called LumaFusion, and it's just down here at the bottom. And I used to use Final Cut on my Mac, and it just became too complicated. This is a 2013 Mac, and it works fine, but it can't really handle 4K footage anymore. And this thing is just so flipping quick, and I can edit really, really quickly. So LumaFusion is the app I use. Oh, there we go. LumaFusion, the app I use for editing, and you'll be able to see there. Oh, is that Monday's video? I think it might be. So there we go. It's a little bit of a hint of what it could be. So yeah, there we go. So for example, I'll tell you what I'll do. There you go. For example, I've got the iPad pointing on the floor normally, and then my phone in that cage over there pointing at me. And then what I do is in this video specifically, I've actually grabbed two versions of the iPad camera and I've split it into two, as you can see there. So you can see the equipment on the floor on the left-hand side and then me on the center. And yeah, it's really, really quick and easy to edit with. There's a guy on YouTube called Henny the Business. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer, but he actually has a YouTube channel about how to do everything mobile. Even his music production is mobile, but he showed this great video of how to edit like a pro on an iPad, and it got my attention. And from that point on, every video that you've seen on the YouTube channel is actually edited on iPad. I don't use the Mac for editing at all. I haven't. Even when I film stuff that's on the Mac, I then airdrop it to the iPad because I find it quicker to edit on the iPad. I've edited on the iPad while I've been on the train. I've edited on the iPad while I've been on my lunch break in my main job. It's really, 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 really good. And I can't fault it at all. And when they bring out a new version of an iPad, this is the 2018 iPad, by the way, the iPad Pro, it's not the 2021. But the only thing that this works perfectly well, the only thing is storage. So I just need more and more storage all the time. This is a cool case, by the way, that I've not done a video on yet. I did a video on their stand, but this is a built-in case which is just being released at the moment, and they're doing shipping for it because they did it on Kickstarter. And it's by the company called Moft, M-O-F-T. Now I don't know if you can see that there, Moft. There we go. And it's a case that's got a stand, and it's a stand built in. And the reason I went for it, let me just do that, see if you can see that there. So what we'll do, give me one sec. Let's do that. There you go. Oh, you can see everything now. So it stands up like that, and the reason for it is so actually I could put it here like this, and it's floating above the musical keyboard. It's really, really useful. It's a bit wobbly when you kind of press on it, but it's fine. Or what you can do is I can actually have it like that, so it's like a kickstand while I'm editing, which is really useful. Or I can just raise it, and it actually raises higher than Apple's Magic Keyboard. Magic Keyboard is about there, and this one's higher, but it does get a bit wobbly. But it's really good. There is no kind of like thing to hold the Apple Pencil other than the magnets. You can get a case that they have for it, but I didn't bother. And this is really sturdy. It's really like a stiff joint, as it were. There we go. And it just stays exactly where you want it. Now, as I say, if I push on it, it starts wobbling a little bit, but it's good. It's really good. I also have the paper-like cover on the top of this. So I used to have one which folds over, but now it's just a paper-like one. So it felt a bit weird not having a cover over it, but I do have a cover on it, if that makes sense. So that is my daily editing machine that I use for everything. And then the other machine I use is this machine. That is the iPhone 10 I've had since the iPhone 10 came out. So 10, 10S, 11, 12, 3 years. And that is my webcam now. That's what I use as my webcam. This is my main film camera, but that one was as well. So these two are basically my film cameras, and that's what I use for filming the whole YouTube channel. So you can do it on mobile. You don't need like, a sort of like, £1,500 Mac for that. You can do it on a £300 iPad because the iPad, the latest one, is screaming fast, and an iPhone, and that iPhone's considered to be old, and it works just great. It does exactly what I want it to. So I think I've talked that off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live stream here. But just before I go, I'm going to be doing more Ask Me Anything. So thank you very much for tuning in. And then the other thing as well is this live stream is sponsored by DistroKid. So if you are a musician or you make music and you are looking to distribute your music out there in the world to places like Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Music, I've probably said that already. you need a distributor, and these guys are fantastic. You can distribute them out to them. The reason they're fantastic is because they're really good with support, actually. But also, for one price per year, you can release as much as you want, which is $20. It's $19.99 to be precise. And with this link, you get 7% off that. So thank you very much for coming over to the live stream, and thank you very much for coming and joining me on a Friday evening, or if it's a Friday morning, wherever you are, or if you're watching it on the replay, give us a comment to let me know in the comment section below, and let me know how your day was. Enjoy your weekend.